Hey y'all, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about turning story ideas into a framework. So just grab yourself a cup of coffee or a water, which I have both of. I'm ready to go and come on in. So welcome to my whiskeys. If you are new here, my name is Jodee Jean Daniels. This is my channel Just Right, and I do live streaming on Monday and Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, where we do productivity sprints. And I also do a lot of educational talks about writing and being an author. And take you along on my little journey of being a published author. So today, again, we're going to talk about turning ideas into framework. So it's today we're diving into an exciting journey of turning raw ideas into structured story framework. So we're going to explore how to take that spark of creativity that you have and shape it into a well-planned narrative that's ready to come to life. And by the end of this session, you're going to feel confident about organizing your ideas and building a framework that works for you and your story. That's my goal. So let's start with why having a framework matters. It's easy to get lost in the endless possibilities of telling a story. So, a framework is your map that's going to show you where you're going and keeps you from wandering too far off course. So, you can think of it as like a foundation for a house. You can't build your dream house without a good foundation. And the same thing, you can't build your dream story without a strong base to hold everything together. Now, your core idea. So every great story starts with a simple idea. So don't don't overthink it. Just ask yourself what I like to call is play the what if game. Okay? So a good example would be Jurassic Park. So what if we could bring dinosaurs back to life? So that single question led to this incredible story and this incredible franchise. So take a moment to think about the essence of your story and that one thing that makes it stand out. All right, so understanding your genre and your audience. Genre is like a promise to your readers. It tells them what kind of story they are getting into and it sets the tone. So think about your audience. Are they expecting a cozy romance or a heart pounding thriller? And meeting their expectation builds trust between you and your readers. For example, romance readers expect emotional arcs and happy endings, while thrill fans, they crave tension and twists. Okay, defining the theme. The theme is the heart of your story. It's what gives your plot and characters that deeper sense of meaning. So, for example, in The Great Gatsby, the theme of the elusive American dream ties all the characters and the events together. So, you have to ask yourself, what do I want my readers to think about or feel after they finish my story? Now, developing your main character or characters, your characters drive your story. Your readers will care more about them than any twists or turns that you can create. So, your protagonist doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, the flaws make them relatable and really real to your readers. So think about Katniss Everdeen. She's strong and she's brave, but she's also vulnerable and very reluctant to be a hero, to be the one to stand up. Structuring your story. All right, the heart of the video. Structuring your story is like scaffolding, okay? It holds everything together and guides your story. So the three-act structure is a classic for that reason, and it works. um, it Act one is your setup. Act two builds the conflict or the tension, and Act three brings that resolution. So let's use The Lion King as an example. So Act one introduces Simba's carefree life. Act two shows his loss and his growth. And Act three is his triumphant return. Now, plot versus story. Plot and story often get mixed up, and they're very different. Plot is what happens, and the story is why it matters. Plot is what happens, the story is why it matters. So in this case, we can think about The Lord of the Rings. The plot is all about the trip to Mordor to destroy the ring. But the story is about Frodo's emotional growth and perseverance. So as you outline your plot points, always ask, how does this impact the characters emotionally? And if it doesn't push your story forward, or it doesn't really impact your plot, it might be a scene that you really like, but it might not be right for that particular story. Talking points. World building. World building is where you can really let your imagination run wild. It's one of my favorite things to do. But you should always make sure that it's serving the story and that you don't get swept away with it. So whether it's a fantastical world like Westeros or it's grounded in like a small town diner, it's key to make it immersive. And you want to focus on the details that matter and what will help your reader connect to your world, because that's going to help the reader connect to the story if they feel immersed in it. So, revisions and refinements, okay? Even in framework, there's editing, okay? Even in outlining, there's editing. We can't get away from it, writers. So, building a framework doesn't mean that you're going to set it in stone, okay? That whatever you write, that's how you have to follow. No. Revisions are where the magic happens, just like in editing your final draft. So after your first draft, revisit the framework. Are there gaps? Are there parts that don't quite work? Is there anything that needs to be revisited or taken out, placed in? You have to ask yourself again all those what if questions, but at a deeper level. So you can use tools like beat sheets. You can use scene cards to refine and strengthen your structure. I know that as far as software, Scrivener does have some really good beat sheets and scene the way to build things up is what I'm told. I don't use it. I'm old fashioned and I use pen and paper or OneNote. But you can use anything you need to use to get that structure figured out and to a point where you really like it and where it's going to help your story when you write that final revision. So, examples of success, okay? Let's look at some success stories. The Hunger Games we've already talked about Katniss, but The Hunger Games is a perfect example of a tightly woven framework with a compelling plot and really rich characters. Um, Another one is The Martian. It thrived on the structure of the narrative, and it just kept readers hooked, so much so that it went from book to major motion picture, just like Hunger Games did. So the frameworks, as you can see, they did not stifle the creativity, they amplified it. They worked for the authors in such a way that it was able to keep them on track, but it let them thrive when they were writing because they knew where they were going, because the framework was set. All right, in conclusion, I know that we covered a lot today, but I want you to remember what the main things we covered was defining the core of your idea, refining your framework, and you do that through revisions. What your original framework is can change. It doesn't have to be written in stone. So remember that every great story starts with a small step. Take that first step by writing down your idea and building from there. And then, you guys, I believe in you. And I know that you have a great story in you. And you just need to get that story framework and go bring that story to life. You can do it because nobody's going to read it if you don't write it. So just write. I hope you guys have a great day. I will see you Monday night during our live streams at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central Time. I hope you have a great day. And if you're one of my whiskeys, you know what I'm going to say before I say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. I may not be everybody's cup of tea, but I'm a really awesome group of people's double shot of whiskey. And I am so happy and I'm so proud that you come and hang out with me and that you find me just right. I love you, love you. I will see you. Bye.